Thank you all for being here to see a great event, I think, which is Barry Crimmins' first stand-up comedy special. That's right. And an important part of why we're here is because I said to Barry, we could shoot this anywhere you want, anywhere in the whole country. And he said, Lawrence, Kansas. It's the first thing he said. That's what he said. So basically, he chose you guys. And so just be yourselves. So thanks very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I only have an hour. Stop that. All right. Thank you very much. It's really nice to be here in Lawrence, fucking Kansas tonight. If all goes well, we're changing to LMK, Lawrence, motherfucking Kansas. So, thank you all for coming out. I usually don't do that. I don't like it. You see these comics, they got 6 minutes on stage or something, and the first thing they do is come out, hey, how you doing? And they waste all, and like they get introduced, you're the funniest person in the world, and they ask a rhetorical question to 300 people. No, go out and be the funny guy, shithead. So I guess I better take my own advice, huh? So I'd like to start by reading something very important to you. My act. Because I'm old, I can't remember this shit. It's hard. I've been on the road for months, and at my age, it's tough, and it's more expensive to tour at my age. The biggest extra expense is, of course, being medevaced from gig to gig. But it's all worth it once they put that morphine drip in. It's all right. So anyway, I'm 44 years into this. I've been doing comedy for 44 years now, and it's tough. Again, I'm old, and I have this real problem that's hurt me in show business. I can feel shame and embarrassment. And that's just not commercially viable, yes. It's not. There's people in show business think they can do anything, they get asked to do anything, or they ask to do anything. I know, you're a comic. I'm putting out an album, though. It's like, what? So, you can't sing. So at one point, the mistake I made once is they hired me to act in the lowest rated show of 1987. I was just a guest, and I was supposed to do this 2-part series. And I was such a bad actor that they killed me off at the end of the first part and brought in my friend Rick Overton, who knows how to act, as my brother who avenged my death. But when I act, again, the shame and embarrassment kicks in, and I just, when I was doing that, I was surrounded by this crew of highly skilled people focusing on how badly I sucked. And I was just so self-conscious. And when I act, I get giant arms when I act. I cannot believe the size of my arms. Now I'm saying the words of others. I was out in Washington State recently driving along, and I hit this big sign, Apple Maggot Quarantine Area. And I drive along a few more miles, and sure enough, I get stopped at a checkpoint, and they found my iPhone. Bill Gates really owns that part of the country. A couple years ago, I'm watching TV, I'm watching Oprah, and she's got 200 male survivors of childhood sexual abuse in the audience. And it was like, it sort of didn't matter what, she was just so happy that she set a record. It was like, and she didn't. You know, she's going like, never have there been so many male survivors of sexual abuse. Clearly, Oprah's never seen a Notre Dame home game. And we have now tipped the theme for the evening. So a lot of you folks are my friends on the social media, and it's Saturday. I love Saturday morning on the social media because people tweet such important things on Twitter. You know, having coffee on a Saturday morning. Wow, so you have like coffee in the morning. That's amazing. Be sure to give me a photo of lunch, because. And I mean, kids, and you are all kids to me, face it, I'm old, but the text messaging, I'm sorry, but if they came along in the different order and the text messages were first and the phone was next, you would go, this is tremendous. You don't have to fucking type a bunch of shit on a postage stamp. You know, someone sends me 8 messages and I pull over at the restaurant, driving 900 miles today, can't text, you know, like, okay, doot, I understand, doot. It's like, and then they have these, they abbreviate everything, PTG, OTR, CHU, and like 4 hours later I go, putting on other shoe? You got enough time to tell me you're putting on another shoe, but then you're suddenly so pressed for it, you have to compress it into something that I can't figure out for 4 hours. But, you know, I'm officially a miserable old man, so I'm on Twitter, and it works out well for me because I'm a limited character. And you know what else I'm sick of? By the way, your Twitter, you got like 40 words, 30 words to describe yourself to the world. And 2/3 of the assholes out there go, love bacon. Look, it was a funny bit when Jim Gaffigan did it, but you suck. You're a boring plagiarist asshole. Wow, I really love bacon. Ooh, you're a crazy bastard, you and the bacon. You know what? I love pigs while they're alive, which is why I don't love bacon, because it means these sentient creatures have been murdered, asshole. I became a vegetarian years ago. I was eating a chicken leg, which was a bone with meat on it. I was holding it with my hands, which was a bone with meat on it. So that's pretty weird. But I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegan because I eat eggs, because I'm pro-choice. Anyway, it's great to be in this town where you've held on to your progressive roots. You remember what the horrible forces of negativity and backwardness did to you, and it's so cool, because I'm from upstate New York, and it was a hotbed of abolition, and now I drive around, there's fucking Confederate flags up there. It's like, what is there, NASCAR next? What's gonna... No, there's Confederate flag. I mean, I did have one Confederate flag. It was on a doormat. We have the worst accent in the country. The defeated tone of upstate New York. What does it is the weather. 193 inches of snow last year. I just sat in my house and worked on my alcoholism until I could get the door open again. All we have are Walmarts and prisons. That's how you give directions. Well, it's your 4th woman's medium security place on the left, and then the 16th superstore on the right. Go straight through the lights there, and I'll meet you at the scene of the total economic collapse. I went to my high school reunion. These guys saw me on TV in Boston, and they heard that I was promoting an AIDS benefit we were doing. And some of the boys later in the night said, "Crimmer, come out of the bar. We gotta give you a chance to clear your name. Now, we heard you done an AIDS benefit. It isn't true, is it?" "Yeah, I've done dozens of AIDS benefits." "Well, you're not a queer, are you?" "I'm whatever threatens you." "I'm a communist with AIDS and I bite." Fucking nitwits. Jesus, this is a beautiful part of the country. Just don't ever talk to anyone. God, they're so, and they'll believe anything. You know, they're the most insane. Obama was born, of course you know. Son to bitch Obama was born in a spaceship over to Kenya that the Muslims and the Russians did with aliens. Christ, ain't you read the Constitution? It's right in there. They got these fucking "don't tread on me" flags. Like, don't tread on me. I was assiduously avoiding eye contact with you. Don't tread on me? Jesus Christ. Thanks for reminding me you're a snake. I appreciate that part. Oh, man. We did do one really good thing in upstate New York, though. We drove the Mormons out almost immediately. Let me get this straight. No beers and extra wives? Get the fuck out of here. I wouldn't even try that shit in Minnesota. So I've been traveling a lot. I was driving down to Atlanta recently and traveling through North Carolina, and it was hot, so I decided to put some shorts on. I pulled into a gas station in one of the restrooms, putting some shorts on. Someone knocked, boom, boom, boom. They knock on the door, and I said, "I'm changing." And in retrospect, this is a poor choice of words. In North Carolina, I come out the SWAT teams there, and they wrote me up for a violation of the Sanctity of Urinals Act. Who's the creepy one here? The people that are thinking that restrooms are giving everybody fucking boners, or, you know, urine-encrusted used toilet paper. If I could just find someone to have sex with, this would be perfect. This would be perfect. Yeah. We got to Atlanta. I love college football, and some local guys start talking college football. Yo, you got to admit, we have superior talent down here. I go, "Yeah, you do. I wonder how it all got here." It's as if your great-grandparents had a real eye for wide receivers or something. "Yeah, well, who was in the national championship game this year?" "I believe that was Slave State versus Slave State State." I was for Slave State State because I love the public institutions. So. It sticks. I mean, you know, the idea that rednecks are, you know, only, you know, like, well, I live in this, I live so far in the country in upstate New York, we get takeout food from LL Bean. You know, it's like, we're out there, folks. So, you know, and it's great until armed tourist season starts. You see these signs on the general store, you know, open 5 a.m., welcome hunters, Coors. Great, Coors. Remember the old Coors? Coors is the one, so is Nixon. You know? Coors grows its own barley. What's that? Tells me you put 50 family farmers out of business, you jerk. Coors gives lie detector tests to its employees about their sex lives. Do you masturbate? Not in the vat. Pretty much all you got to know, Adolf. There's credit hours available with my act. So, I'm drinking water, which is all right, although it makes my mouth taste like my mouth. Usually I drink soda water, which I like because you can spill it and no one cares. It's soda water. That's what you use to clean stuff up. The only thing that'll take that out of there is gravy. But another good thing we did in upstate New York, we have, for the time being at least, we've defeated fracking, which is good. We're too dependent on foreign oil. It's like, yeah, wait till we're too dependent on foreign water and see how you feel. All right, so that's the end of the water portion of the show. We can't show the label because we're it's like porn beer. You know? Reach for the beer with the white socks and no pants. Porn beer. The gals love it when you spill it on them, honest. Not as crotchy as you'll catch me, but I don't drink. I like to drink. But I am so sick of the craft beer shit. I gotta tell you, it's good. I like it. But it's, you know, beer is supposed to lubricate the conversation, not be the subject of it. You boring fucking assholes. Oh, it's got a hoppy finish with a weedy balance. Just shut the fuck up. What's the score of the game, asshole? Just shut up. And I like the craft beer, but it's 3 times as strong as the shit I trained on for 38 years. But I drink it at the same rate as the other stuff. And this leads to some accidents. So the environment is bad. It's getting really bad, and we're ignoring the warnings. Do you know that mine shaft canaries have gone extinct? That's a warning right there, folks. It's so nice to be in front of a big, full crowd. I've been out touring for a better part of a year, playing a lot of not big crowds, and these comics go on in front of me. And what do they do to this small crowd? They tell them they suck because they're a small crowd. And I say to them, that's who's here. Who sucks are the people in the empty seats. This would completely blow without these guys. And then they harass the 8 people that are there. They give people a, hey, nice shirt. And if some guy has a bad shirt on at my show, I figure he had a choice. He could have either bought a new shirt or come to my show. So thanks a lot, man. Thank you. Thank you for humiliating yourself for me. That's really nice of you. And they harass the audience, like someone gets up to go to the, where are you going, the bathroom? You know, what are you, a homosexual? Those comics. Again, bathrooms and homosexual, they just, for some reason, they immediately just figure that's what the whole plan for. Well, I don't do that. I'm thankful that everyone comes out to the show, and I appreciate it, and if you have to go to the bathroom while I'm on, I should be able to work with the other 299 people. I'm willing to take that chance, you know, just so that the other people don't end up sitting next to some guy who pissed himself. So. All right, let's see what we have on page 2. So these comics, I mean, there's so, when I became a comic, you had to be a real iconoclast. There weren't very many, I've been 100 comics in the United States when I became a comic. And now it's like, so you had to be an iconoclast. Now you're like a lemming if you become a comedian. Like, Everybody is a fucking comedian. Everywhere. There's 35,000 people calling themselves stand-up comedians in New York City. 35,000. It's like a refugee crisis. Syria has opened its borders to stand-up comedians. The UN is flying tents into Manhattan for emergency stage time. And these kids, young male comics, I'll watch them. Like, hey, what'd you think of my set? And I kind of want to tell them, but because they'll do this stuff, they'll do this real misogynist stuff, and then they'll close by complaining that they never get laid. And it's just, maybe if you didn't say that shit through a sound system every night. Here's my trick with women. I like them. It's a crazy idea. It works, though. But they're nowhere near. The guys older, the older guys that are all upset about political correctness is ruining me. When I started doing comedy, it was 99% based around people like me. Now it's only 97% based around people. What's up with that? I did a college show, and there were some young women there who were raised with enough dignity to not want to listen to some 40-year-old hack call them a receptacle for an hour. I'm a rebel. I'm courageously reinforcing an oppressive status quo. I'm on the cutting edge here. They're all complaining. I lost a couple of college gigs. It's like I started comedy clubs. 94% of them wouldn't think of booking me because of my act. You don't see me up here whining about it. What's your term, boys? Man up? Fucking try it. So, I've had to do other things because of it. I've had to do other things to augment my income. You become a left-wing political satirist during the Reagan years. It's not like an economic bonanza you're walking into. So I've written some books that did well, like Coping with Your Dog's Bisexuality. You may know that. Drug Interaction, the Frugal Junkie's Best Friend. Then I made a mistake. I invested in a chain of runaway truck ramps. Unfortunately, I got the Nebraska and Kansas franchises. Talk about underperforming, Jesus. Well, I've done pretty well. I rebounded from that. I bought a manufacturing plant that manufactures magnetic ribbons that say support our magnetic ribbon manufacturers. And just recently, I'm ready to kill. I'm set for life. I got a really good price on 18 pallets of the box set of Hoarders. And I am just going to sit on those babies. My dogs don't fit in the house anymore, but. So I'm surrounded by the Tea Party people and the Tea Party Express, what's that for, like bigots on the run? And they're so upset about some bitch Obamacare. Obamacare is you would think it's what we actually wanted, how upset they are about it. It wasn't a rearrangement of the fucking boondoggle that still pays off the shitheads that caused the crisis in the first place. I don't need health insurance, I need care. I don't need insurance. If I'm sick, I don't want to go to fucking Las Vegas and hope to win. I need care. I don't want to call a building that's 30 stories high that doesn't have one stethoscope in it, full of people who understand a very simple fact. Sick people often take no for an answer. People are very, very scared of dying, aren't they? Yes, they are. And in many cases, we can prevent it, can't we? Yes, we can. I think some price gouging's in order here. Evil shitheads. I don't know. It's hard for me to do this now because I'm still pretty ripped up over the whole Scalia thing. How we even get along without the big guy, I don't know. Such a tragic loss. And I really felt bad in that for was like whatever poor, undocumented alien was forced to clean up the bedroom. After Scalia ate like 15 pheasants and Scalia'd the bed. After a courageous day of hunting, he seemed fine. This is a quote, he got out of the hunting vehicle twice. The fucking hunting vehicle? Get out of the way for Tarzan. Jesus. The hunting vehicle, yes. Well, he had to discipline his men, servant. He didn't like how he was beating the bushes. It's one of those canned hunt places where the birds think that the shotgun blast means the corn pellets are being distributed. It's how sporting. But I would just like to say to the Republican senators, I know this is tough for you to realize, but the black guy won. I know it's tough on you. The Negro is the president. The Negro's in charge, and the Negro won. Sorry, I know you're upset. And Mitch McConnell is, we are strict. We believe in the Constitution, and Barack Obama is black, and so he should only be allowed to serve 3/5 of a term. What's that, the sound your brain makes when you use it? You think I'm endorsing that thought or pointing it out? The fuck? Okay, now we're gonna take off the gloves. Jesus Christ. I'm making points here. What do you think, I'm on the side of these racist jagoffs all of a sudden? What the fuck do you think I've been out here doing? Why do you think I never got to do a special till tonight? The fuck? Okay, here we go, fine. Just a second, I need this. Get a little froth on my face and let's fucking dance, motherfuckers. I drove through Coeur d'Alene, Idaho recently, which is where the Aryan Brotherhood was from. They don't own the rights to their name anymore because the Southern Poverty Law Center actually beat them so badly in a case they won the rights. Which is tremendous. But they don't use them. I would use them. I would open up all kinds of businesses, Crystal Night, the gayest disco in the Rockies. KKK Kosher Deli. So anyway, I am so sick of gun assholes. I'm a proponent of gun control. For those of you in the National Rifle Association, proponent means I'm in favor. They say if guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns. I say fine, part of their job. If guns are outlawed, a lot of pinheads won't have guns. We had the right to bear arms for over 200 years now. Fine, bear arms from over 200 years ago. I don't get nervous if I see somebody carrying a concealed musket. But, you need a gun or two. Okay, fine, you can have a gun or two. It's these shitheads with 80 guns and no friends that scare me. Who's entitled, it's like, rather than getting another gun, maybe you could try to get, a personality. It's just, the Second Amendment, there's a second, you know nothing about the Constitution. You go like, well, I know this much, the Bill of Rights wasn't the Constitution, shithead, and you're pushing the Second Amendment. I don't mean to be it's not like I'm at the Harvard Law School or anything. Second Amendment, which was a bone to the fucking slave states. That's the Second Amendment. It was so they could form a militia to chase runaway slaves across state lines unimpeded by other states that were civilized. And that's the Second Amendment. So the Second Amendment is as American as slavery. Go fuck yourself. And the camo, assholes, camo. Everybody, the people with the camo. You know why people wear camo? So you notice them. If the shit worked, I'd be completely in favor of it. Thousands of assholes I don't ever have to see. So, and these guys, they talk about their guns like they're going to get, their big plan is they're going to take on the U.S. government with their guns. So that's your plan. You're going to get in an arms race with the fucking United States government. Good luck on that. You know, they think they're going to get in this big Rambo shootout at the end, and it's going to be some twitchy kid drinking Mountain Dew in Nevada with a joystick, turning them into bug splat. Nobody's going to buy the movie rights, asshole. Oh, they're coming for our guns. They're coming for our guns. Well, better late than never, you know. And by the way, I feel that anyone who uses the word homeland should be forced to wear lederhosen. I'm a pacifist. People get mad at you. They're a pacifist. What do they always ask you if you're a pacifist? What would you done about World War II? I wouldn't have started World War I. It was like a sequel, you see. The whole franchise would have been ruined. You know? I mean, I don't know, when was the last time you were upset about an archduke? Lately? Have you ever even heard of another archduke? One archduke ever gets killed and they light the world on fire for 2 wars. Dear God, not Archduke Ferdinand! The man with a silly hat and an open car is gone! Geez, I wish my kids were a little older and they could fight this for us. So people get mad at me. They say, if you don't love this country, Barry, why don't you get out of it? I say, because I don't want to be victimized by its foreign policy. And they say, well, Jesus Christ, those kids are over in Afghanistan fighting for your freedom. And I say, if I'm dumb enough to leave my freedom lying around in Afghanistan, I belong in shackles. Jesus Christ. You know? Here's how I use my freedom. I say, don't send those poor kids to Afghanistan. Only a moron fights an away game in Afghanistan. This is the last place slave state lost. Over to Afghanistan, yeah. Remember the good old days when you felt a little special if you thought your phone was tapped? At 9/11, it came along, 9/11 happens, and it's like, the whole world changed on 9/11. No, the whole world didn't change. The United States became part of the rest of the world that we helped make violent forever. And it came, and it's a terrible thing. And I hate it with those. I hate it when innocent people are massacred. I hate it when guilty people are massacred. I don't want to massacre anybody. I don't believe in massacres. You know, I think it's terrible. But the lies and the cowardice that came after 9/11, it was like, these people will kick you, will drive over in our pickup trucks and kick you. You'll drown, you know. But we're supposed to lie right away. What's the first thing everyone started saying? They're going, well, there's just no one can even figure out what they were doing. Like, there's just no, it's so, you can't even figure out. And everybody, the media, everybody's like, there's just no sense. No one can even begin to figure out what they're, really? They hit the fucking World Trade Center and the Pentagon. They hit the money and the muscle. Hemingway couldn't have written a more concise telegram. That doesn't mean I'm in favor of them doing it, but if we want to stop it, we can begin to figure out maybe what their motivation was and work from there, you know. But no, the mystery. Whoa, they're crazy. You know, they're different than us, so they must be crazy. They're not civilized like us. They never go to a gas station for pizza. Go to a gas station. People dine out at gas stations now. What the fuck is that? Everything's made of corn. The pizza, the chairs, the gas. The high fructose cornholing. So it's a remedy called elections that's going to solve everything. You know, we have an election coming up. The big problem is someone will win. You know? And people just talking, they get tied up forever in this either-or politics thing. They get so dogmatic, supporting one side or the other. In the meantime, the reason we don't have a viable third party is because corporations don't want to write a third check, you know? There's a nickel's worth of difference between Democrats and Republicans. A nickel's worth of difference. If I took a nickel and I put it on this music stand here, Democrat would steal it from me. And the Republican would kill me for it. And that's my choice, and I got to pick one side and then live in servitude to these weirdo assholes who, here's my point entirely about most politics. It's like, never trust anyone who wants to be in charge. Period. What kind of weirdo wants to be in charge? I don't want to be in charge. I've looked at this entire world, and there's one glaring problem. I'm not in charge. Oh, let us form a committee and worship you. When I started doing this, Nixon was president. Nixon. You can't just say Nixon. It's Nixon. If you live through it, it's not Nixon. It's Nixon. Nixon's like herpes. You think he's gone, blah. Flares up. Nixon flares up again. Now all these people are, oh, if Nixon were around today, he'd be a liberal. It's like, are you fucking serious? Nixon was as far to the right as he possibly could get at any time. He would be red baiting Ted Cruz if he were around. Nixon, Jesus, don't tell me what Nixon would be doing. I saw what he did. You know? And then the Reagan years, I mean, and that he's this lion. Therefore, I must continue to lie about this sensitive matter in the land of our people with the coasts on both sides and the flag in between that I spilled fictional blood in Culver City for. Just say no to drugs unless they're from the Contras. I will not negotiate with terrorists. Either they take the weapons or they don't. These prices are firm. Anyway, it's been an entertaining presidential election year. Wonderful candidates. Jeb Bush, man, he did the impossible. He ruined his brother's good name. And all he lost was an exclamation mark. John Kasich, the moderate Republican, which is like a mild case of the bubonic plague. Chris Christie, they kept asking, are you going to drop out? I'll close that bridge when I come to it. And then in the end, he's just like, I'm going to go home to concentrate on enormous bowel movements. And who even gave Ted Cruz the idea that it was okay to leave the building? Just, well, I mean, just what a fucking creepy, piece of shit he is. Just like, it's as if Joseph McCarthy escaped from the wax museum and then accidentally stood under sun lamps for a while. You would get this asshole, you know, the leftist Clinton agenda, these communist Clinton agenda, the left-wing, dangerous, far-left, nutty, socialist ideas of the fucking Clintons. And then he pulls the religious shit. Joy comes in the morning, only if you leave at dawn, asshole. I read his biography, Yes, We Klan. But I mean, you know, it's hard for me to talk about this stuff. It's hard for me to, like, I don't even like talking because I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing. Like, I'm just going to blurt something. I'm just going to be up here one night and I'm just going to go, you know, I would really just like to club Donald Trump to death until his tiny brain popped up like an infected zit. Just goodbye. And that wouldn't be helpful at all. It wouldn't, you know, so I have to use so much restraint, you know. He's such a fucking piece of shit, relentless piece of, you know, rancid fucking bag of horse assholes. You know, the toupee of Dorian Gray. Just thought of that right now. Right here, live on the special. Yeah, shit. It's just so awful, and he's the voice of abuse. It's like his campaign should just say, "Hate yourself? Yes. Donald Trump hates you too." It's about time we got someone in there who hates me as much as I hate myself. He's such a fucking creepy, awful, like, remember that one was like 10 below zero and someone's yelling at him in the audience, you throw him up, but keep his coat. What are you, fucking Mr. Potter? You can't, and then what's the option? I mean, the option they're trying to impose on us is, you know, the most viable Republican is, you know, Clinton. She is. Her favorite president was Abraham Lincoln, she said it, because he was also a Republican from Illinois. It's just, she's always been, she was a terrible candidate. See, in America, we're stupid, and so we don't have, you know, races of substance. We have personality contests. And, you know, Hillary Clinton doesn't have one. And I mean it. I've been in the room with her, and she is awful. And, well, she has one, but it's a bad personality. And it shows up. She can't hide it, you know? Like some dirty, regular person will rub up against her. She get this look like, ooh. And then she realizes she's on camera, and she puts that smile on that scares dogs. And those eyes with, she's fucking crazy. And the whole thing is like, it's her turn to be president. Are you fucking, this isn't one of those soccer leagues you're not allowed to score in, you know? If an actual feminist woman ran for president, I would be working so hard for. She couldn't be a bigger part of the patriarchy if she had an 11-inch cock. She's a hawk. She's pro-Wall Street. She's owned by the healthcare man. You know, she's just awful. All this shit that ruins women. It's Mother Earth or Fatherland. I'm with Mother Earth. So you put a real feminist out there to run for president, a woman, I'm there. I couldn't be happier. I would love to have an actual feminist president, but you gotta be fucking kidding me pushing this shit down my throat. Just an awful person in there. I mean, the Reagan years end, 12 years of Bush and Reagan, and you go, finally, maybe we'll get a little break. And the Clintons come in, and what do they reform? Poor people. Literally, they had welfare reform. That was the problem after 12 years of Bush and Reagan. Those poor people just had it too good. And it's time for us to straighten that out. So, I'm not, and they try to push you into this thing where you go, well, you're going to have to vote for Clinton. No, I'm not. You know why? Because for once, the goddamn anti-democratic electoral college works in my favor. I live in New York State. Trump isn't going to win New York if he cures cancer the night before the election. So I don't have to soil myself for voting for this reactionary shithead who's completely, who said when they asked her, why did you take 600 grand from Goldman Sachs? That's what they offered. And this I'm with her stuff, when I was with her, who her was? Anita Hill, who was character assassinated, who was character assassinated by a piece of shit named David Brock, who again, in this country, every time some reactionary comes slightly to the right and calls themselves a Democrat, they end up in fucking charge of us. Ariana Huffington, David Brock, what the fuck? I'm not taking orders from you. You completely sucked a little while ago, and now you just suck, Hey, Ariana, writing isn't a hobby. Pay your writers, Ariana, you piece of shit. So, but David Brock was the one who character assassinated Anita Hill. And now he's the one out behind these campaigns online that are anti-Bernie. And they're creating this thing that's fomenting this fear, like, oh, the biggest threat in this country, these wandering waves of Sanders peace activists, like they're going to kill us all, I don't know what they'll do next. And they're young and naive. They're naive. They're young and naive. They're so naive because they're, 24 years old and they graduated for college and they've realized they're already completely economically fucked for life. Unless something changes. So, they're so naive. And they're worried, and they want to vote for the guy who talks about climate change in a very serious way because they might want to, live another 30 or 40 years. These naive kids. But Bernie, you know why Bernie ran? Because he saw nobody raising a glove to stop Clinton. And he knows what her politics are. So he went, I'm old, I don't feel like, all right, let's go. It's not into the leaders. All these people, we need better leaders. It implies that the system's fine. We just have the wrong people running it. No, the system blows. I don't need a leader. Telling me I need a leader is calling me a moron, basically. I don't need a leader. I'm not on a goddamn field trip, I know how to get back to the bus on my own. I'm watching CNN during Ferguson, and they put up one of those dildoic polls they do. They ask, is racism getting better in America? So I tweet right back to them, oh yeah, it's at the top of its game. Because it is, Obama, I'm way to the left of him, but I give him credit. The last 8 years, we've gotten a tremendous census of how many racist pieces of shit there are in this country. My favorite holiday is Martin Luther King Day. Number one, because it honors a great man. Number two, because it annoys bigots to no end. Martin Luther King Day, la 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 la. Can't believe the KKK is still around. There's a gutsy group of people. You better listen to us. Fuck you, we'll catch you on laundry day. So I'm tired of cowards. Like, Trump was supposed to be this tough guy, I'll say anything, and gets into a beef with the Pope. Have you never seen him read a prepared statement? The day after the Pope, he's out there reading his statement, voice cracking, reading word for word. If he's the badass who's going to call a spade, here's what I'd say if I get in a beef with the Pope and I might be elected president in a little while. I'd say, as soon as I'm elected president, there's going to be a federal investigation of the crime wave against children that's been committed by your church for the past several decades. Oh, no, Barry, no, Barry, no, no, no. The new Pope is great. The new Pope is progressive. He's great. The new Pope's job is to change the subject and not the church. That's the new Pope. Priests, bishops, those guys, they lie. And these people are like, well, you're going to risk being sent to hell by being excommunicated. I'll know I'm in hell if it's full of priests, bishops, and popes. And it's not like I'm this vengeful person. As you know, a lot of you know, saw the movie. I survived rapes as a 4-year-old. And people get the wrong idea a lot of time. People will think they're relating to me, going like, well, there'll be some case and some pedophile will be sentenced to jail. And they go, well, Bubba will teach him a lesson. And it's like, you're asking me to endorse rape on any level? I'm opposed to rape. I don't want rapists to be raped. I don't want anybody to be. Here's an idea for prisons. How about if we make them lawful places where even criminals learn that the law, on occasion, protects them? How about that? You might actually be able to reform somebody. And I'm not into vengeance. I don't want to put them in a dungeon where they're raped and then eventually let them back out on the street again because now they've just gone to graduate school for rage, and I'm opposed to that. And if you're allowing them to be raped, the poor kid on the marijuana rap is getting raped too, and I'm really opposed to that. So don't come up to me talking about rape like it's ever a good idea. Ever, ever, ever. There's so much, yeah. So, I'm tired of, this is a thing, and these are people who've been through a lot of trauma, and I love them, and I've worked for them my whole adult life, because my father was one of them. I'm tired of living in a country that would rather create veterans than care for them. Yeah. I think all military recruiting should be done on the top floor of veterans hospitals. And the kids should have to walk through every ward in the hospital before they sign up for this glamorous pursuit of being in the military. I think that should go on. And I think that they pull such shit these days. Their new scam is every soldier is a hero. You're all heroes. And we have to go, oh, thanks, you're a hero. And we're supposed to say, thank you for your service. And these guys don't often feel really great about their quote-unquote service. And they don't feel like heroes because of the shit they brought home. But what do we say to them? They go, well, you guys are heroes, like the World War II guys were heroes. And you know what the World War II guys did? They never talked about it. They never said anything. So basically the message is shut the fuck up and we'll call you a hero, and that's the best deal you can possibly get. What we should do when we see a vet is say, how you doing? I'll listen to you, I care about, because I get called a hero. And that's how many people, I'm called a hero. I'm not a hero, I'm a legend, but I'm not a hero. But my deal was I talked, and I got to be a hero because I talked. I said what happened to me, and then I said what happened to a bunch of kids when I was on AOL in the 90s, and I caught them profiteering on child pornography trading. And then I ended up doing this Mr. Smith Goes to Washington thing, where I actually testified in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee about these shitheads who ignored my complaints to them for a year, going like, They're openly trading, and it's that child pornography. By the way, it's not kiddie porn. That sounds like, something kiddie sounds fun or something. It's graphic evidence of heinous abuse done to children. And it's nothing to snicker about. It's nothing to joke about. But we did that in '95, and I was nuts enough to not give. I was like, remember The Simpsons where Marge Simpson wanted to take Itchy and Scratchy off the air, and they didn't take her seriously? That was me with AOL, And AOL just thought they were going to hammer me. They sent out this lawyer to test. The guy looks me over. His shoes are worth more than my education. And he looks me over. And he's going this guy, what is he, a nightclub comic? And I go, yeah, I've had a few exchanges, We'll see how this works out for you, asshole. And an hour later, he's just got this faraway stare in his eyes. And he says, I want to stop you right there. So we have a strict 3 strikes and you're out policy concerning child pornography. At which point I said, nobody loves baseball more than me. But that's a 1-strike offense in any decent league in the world. And he was done, and AOL was embarrassed, and they had to change stuff. And now I meet kids who are on AOL at that point. They see the movie, and they go, that was going on. And I was a kid, and I didn't know what to do with it, because I wanted to be able to continue to hang around on AOL, but there were all these creeps there, and then they went away one day. Thank you very much. And I never expected that to happen, but I was one lone nut, and I spoke up. But the important thing was some people listened to me. That's what we got to do with vets. That's what we got to do with everybody, because you can be heroic by having the courage and the kindness to listen to people. And then to take action that you think is appropriate. And then to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. And then to tell other people that they should not snicker away certain things that make them nervous, but they should have the courage to stay with it. When I first started telling people I was raped as a little kid, about half of them said, well, are you talking to anyone? Yeah, I thought I was fucking talking to you. But the other half listened to me. And I found an entire town that's that way. And that's why I came here tonight to talk to you. You're kind enough to listen to me. And I thank you all very much. Good night. Thank you, Lawrence. Thanks a lot.